America on the move, who's packing up and why, besides my Uncle Barry after Thanksgiving dinner. Alright, settle down folks, welcome to the show. My name is X, and today we're diving into something fascinating. It seems like half of America is playing a giant game of musical states. Seriously, long-distance moves are way up. People are packing their U-Hauls, saying goodbye to their neighbors, and probably arguing over who gets to control the playlist on that cross-country drive. Now, how do we know this isn't just a feeling? We've got the receipts. This isn't just hearsay from your cousin who swears everyone's leaving his town. We're looking at actual, bona fide, USPS change of address data. That's right, the mailman knows all. So, we're going to focus on the top 7 states that saw the most people waving goodbye in the rearview mirror back in 2022. Stick around, it's gonna be enlightening, maybe a little depressing, but definitely interesting. Alright, first up on our thanks but no thanks tour is the one the only California. Ah, California. Sunshine, beaches, movie stars, and a price tag that could make a billionaire sweat. It's the land of dreams, alright? Specifically, the dream of one day being able to afford a studio apartment that isn't also your kitchen and your garage. People have been flocking there for decades, chasing gold, fame, or just a really good taco. But it seems the Golden State's shine might be a bit tarnished for some folks lately. The biggest culprit is the cost of living. It's astronomical. Housing prices in particular have gone from aspirational to comedic to downright offensive. You see these listings for a charming fixer-upper and it's basically a shed that a raccoon recently vacated, and they want 7 figures for it. It's wild. And it's not just the housing, everything costs more. Gas, groceries, a decent cup of coffee, you name it, your wallet feels it. People are working 2, sometimes 3 jobs just to tread water. Imagine that grind day in and day out, just to live in a place where the weather is nice but you can't afford to go outside and enjoy it because you're always working. So, who's leaving? Well, it's a mix. It's young families who want a backyard for their kids that isn't the size of a postage stamp. It's retirees whose pensions suddenly don't stretch as far as they used to. The dream is colliding with the decimal point, and the decimal point is winning. Next up, the city that never sleeps. Probably because everyone's too worried about how they're going to pay their taxes. That's right, we're talking about New York, the Empire State, home of Broadway, Wall Street, and apparently a whole lot of people saying, you know what? I think I've had enough empire for a while. Much like our West Coast counterpart California, a big part of the New York Exodus story is the cost of living. It's famously expensive. You want a shoebox apartment in Manhattan? That'll be your firstborn child and a lifetime supply of bagels, please. And it's not just the city, even the suburbs can make your bank account weep. But New York adds another layer to the financial fun taxes. Oh, the taxes, state income tax, city income tax if you're in NYC, property taxes that can make your eyes water. It's like they're trying to fund the entire tri-state area with your paycheck. You work hard, you earn a good living, and then you see how much goes to Uncle Sam, Uncle Andrew, and probably a few other uncles you didn't even know you had. It can be pretty disheartening. For many, especially as they get older or start families, that treadmill starts to look less like an exciting challenge and more like a cruel joke. The people leaving aren't just fleeing the city itself, we're seeing departures from across the state. Alright, moving on to the Midwest, our next state seeing a bit of an exodus is Illinois, the Prairie State, home of Chicago, deep dish pizza, and apparently a growing number of people who are saying so long to those prairies. One of the recurring themes we're seeing, and Illinois is no exception, is taxes. High taxes. Specifically, property taxes in Illinois are notoriously some of the highest in the nation. For many homeowners, especially retirees on fixed incomes or young families, these property taxes can be a crushing burden. And when you see neighboring states with much lower property tax rates, the temptation to move becomes pretty strong. Alright, next stop on our tour of states, people are politely excusing themselves from New Jersey, the Garden State, home of Bruce Springsteen diners and some of the most, shall we say, drivers in the country, but it seems a lot of folks are deciding to take the Parkway, or the Turnpike, one last time, with a moving truck in tow, heading for the state line. And you can probably guess one of the main reasons. If you guess taxes, specifically property taxes, give yourself a gold star. New Jersey consistently ranks at or near the very top for the highest property taxes in the United States. We're talking eye-watering, are you kidding me? Levels of property tax. You could buy a small car every year with what some people pay in property taxes. It's a massive financial burden that hangs over homeowners like a perpetual storm cloud. Imagine you've worked your whole life, paid off your mortgage, and you're looking forward to a comfortable retirement. Then, bam! Your property tax bill arrives, and it's enough to make you consider unretiring. It's a serious issue, especially for those on fixed incomes. It can force people out of homes they've lived in for decades, out of communities they love, simply because they can no longer afford the taxes on the property they own outright. And it's not just property taxes, though they are the undisputed heavyweight champion of New Jersey's financial woes. The overall cost of living is also very high, especially in the northern part of the state, which is essentially an extension of the New York City metropolitan area. Housing, childcare, transportation, it all adds up, and when combined with those killer property taxes, it creates a very expensive place to call home. Alright, let's head back to the Midwest, to the Great Lakes State, Michigan, home of Motown, the auto industry, and two beautiful peninsulas shaped like a mitten, and well, the other part, it's a state with a proud industrial heritage and stunning natural beauty. But Michigan has seen residents leaving, often due to economic and job market challenges. For decades, Michigan's fortunes were tied to the auto industry. When Detroit was booming, Michigan was booming. But global competition and economic shifts have forced the state to adapt. This transition hasn't always been smooth, impacting job opportunities and economic stability. While there has been growth in sectors like technology, healthcare, and advanced manufacturing, some feel the job market isn't as robust or stable as it once was. When career prospects are limited, people start to look elsewhere for better opportunities. Michigan's cost of living is reasonable, but job scarcity can still be a challenge. The cost of living can be quite reasonable in many parts of the state. However, if job opportunities are scarce in your field, or if wages are stagnant, even a lower cost of living might not be enough to make ends meet comfortably, or to feel like you're building a secure future. Think about a young person graduating from one of Michigan's excellent universities. They've got their degree, they're full of ambition, but if they perceive more dynamic job markets or higher starting salaries in other states, they might be tempted to pack their bags and follow those opportunities. This brain drain can be a challenge for any state trying to retain its talented young people. Alright, let's head over to Pennsylvania, the Keystone State. Birthplace of American democracy, home of cheesesteaks, and a place where many are moving out. Despite its rich history and major cities, Pennsylvania sees many moving vans heading out. People leave for better job opportunities and a more dynamic economic environment. Pennsylvania's diverse economy isn't growing as fast as other regions. Young professionals seek faster growth and exciting opportunities elsewhere. It's about seeking stability and a sense of forward momentum. And finally, rounding out our list of the top 7 states people were saying see ya to in 2022, we have Ohio, the Buckeye State, home of astronauts, rock and roll, Cleveland rocks, and a whole lot of corn. It's another cornerstone of the American Midwest, a state with a rich industrial past and a significant agricultural sector. But like its neighbors, Ohio is experiencing a net outflow of residents, and economic factors are often at the heart of the decision. Much like we discussed with Michigan and Pennsylvania, the economic landscape and job market conditions in Ohio are significant drivers for outmigration. While Ohio has major cities like Columbus, Cleveland, and Cincinnati, each with its own economic strengths, the overall perception for some is that opportunities for career advancement or higher wages might be more abundant in other parts of the country. The Rust Belt legacy, fair or not, still colors perceptions. The transition from a historically manufacturing-heavy economy to a more diversified one is an ongoing process. While there's growth in sectors like healthcare, logistics, and technology, especially around Columbus, which has seen significant development, some residents, particularly those in areas harder hit by industrial decline, may feel that the recovery hasn't reached them, or that the new jobs don't match their skills or previous earning potential. It's not necessarily that Ohio is a terrible place to live, far from it. The cost of living is generally quite affordable compared to national averages. You can get a lot of house for your money in many parts of Ohio, but affordability alone isn't always enough to keep people if they feel their earning potential is capped, or if they see more dynamic economic growth happening elsewhere. It's the classic big fish in a small pond versus small fish in a big pond dilemma. But sometimes people just want a pond with more fish, period. Young graduates are a key demographic to watch. So there you have it, folks. A whirlwind tour of the top 7 states that people were, shall we say, consciously uncoupling from back in 2022, from the sunny shores of California to the bustling streets of New York, and through the heartland of Illinois, New Jersey, Michigan, Pennsylvania, and Ohio. The reasons vary, but common themes emerge: cost of living, taxes, and the eternal search for better job opportunities. It's like a national game of musical chairs, but with way more bubble wrap and arguments over who gets the good snacks in the car. It's fascinating stuff, right? Seeing these big shifts in where Americans are choosing to call home, it makes you think about what really matters to people when they decide to uproot their lives. Is it the weather, the job market, the price of a decent slice of pizza? Probably a little bit of everything. And remember, this data is from the good old USPS, so it's legit. These aren't just anecdotes from your chatty Aunt Carol. These are real moves, real people seeking something different. Now I'm curious to hear what you think. Are you from one of these states? Did you recently move from one or to one? What are the big factors for you when you think about where to live? Let us know in the comments below. Let's get a conversation going.